Hi, how to smoke a tobacco pipe. Just a tobacco pipe, sorry, that's all this is. We'll call it 101 and I'll start from the beginning. First of all, you're going to have to purchase a tobacco pipe, okay? And there are lots of choices out there. You do not have to spend a fortune on buying a nice pipe. This particular pipe is actually got an Italy brown on the bottom. Don't know if you can see that or not. It might be difficult. There you go. And it's a nice pipe. And I bought that at the tobacco store. I don't have anything with their logo on it, or I would show it to you. And like I said, or I believe I said, $20. Okay? You can go on Amazon and buy pipes all day long for $10 a piece. The problem is, of course, is that the pictures don't always show the bowl size, and that's really going to be important depending on the size of these little digits in which you're going to use to pack the pipe. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with how to smoke a pipe 101. Okay, so after you have the pipe, after you've purchased it, you might, if you're not sure if you want to smoke a pipe, my suggestion is go to any tobacco outlet and you can buy an inexpensive corncob pipe, okay, $5, and buy they sometimes they have bins that you can get the tobacco in, and sometimes you can buy a small bag and try different flavors before you get into the overall expense of it. So you can have your first pipe smoking experience for less than $10, really, less than a decent cigar. Okay, and I do smoke cigars, by the way, but that's a different video. Okay, so after you choose a pipe, and I got this one from the tobacco store, where I got my tobacco. This particular tobacco I got at a different outlet. This is $20, and it is a Mondo bag of tobacco. Okay, let me get that in there so you can see that. They have a rum and a cherry Cavendish, and the other one's a rum tobacco that's treated. Now, a little bit on the tobacco. Okay, you'll notice this is, you can't really see it. It's pushed, all the air is pushed out of this bag, because the enemy to a lot of things like us is air. You do not want your tobacco to get dried out. And because you don't want to be reaching inside of a big bag all the time, you can get a small tobacco pouch and put it in there, but for the video's sake, I've actually put it in a clear bag to help you see what it looks like and how to pack your pipe. Okay, I like the rendition that I was educated on, in terms of if you were going to reach over and shake a little baby infant's hand, you do it very gently. And if you shake a woman's hand, you're not going to, squeeze her hand off. And if you're going to shake the hand of another man's, you're going to do a little bit firmer. And that's how you pack the pipe. Okay. Now, a couple things on packing a pipe. If you clean the pipe out like I have this one, I have smoked in it before, but it's all cleaned out. And the reason I point that out is because if you put a dirty pipe inside your bag and you go to scoop it up, you could dump some remnants out of this. So if you've already smoked your pipe once and you haven't cleaned it out, you're not going to want to do this from this point of view. You're going to want to pick it up and shove it in there. But being that this pipe is clean, I'm just going to show you that I just basically tip this in here, and I'm doing it on a clear bag so you can kind of get an idea of how I'm pushing it in there. And I'm doing it gently. I'm not pushing really hard. And you can kind of just tap the pipe out and tap it in there, okay? And the nice thing about a pipe versus a cigar is that you can pack as little or as much as you want in there, depending on the amount of time that you want to smoke. Now, with a full bowl, I can get about 20-30 minutes if I really take my time. Okay? Now, I've finished packing this down so it's not falling out. There's a little bit here on the elbow. Okay? I'm going to set this pipe down for just a second. and explain something to you about the tobacco. Now again, this is in a plastic bag, which, you know, plastic baggies are kind of frowned upon because people are like, oh, what did you got in the baggie? No, it's not that kind of tobacco. But notice I'm going to roll it back up, okay? Same as the big bag, you don't want air getting into that tobacco. And this is an easy way to transfer a smaller amount of your pipe tobacco around, keeping the air out of it. Okay, so back to the pipe. So here's our pipe. Okay, and you can see that I've loosely got the tobacco in there. I'll show you just how, just kind of gently tamp that down, okay? Okay, now, next step is in lighting the pipe, okay? Now, there's some misnomers about what you can use to light a pipe with, okay? And bar none, probably the best thing to do is the good old wood match, okay? The one thing you want to be careful about when you light a pipe or a cigar with a wood match is that when you strike the match, let it burn just a few seconds, because you don't want to get that phosphorus crap that's on the end of the match in your tobacco. It'll taste nasty. Okay? Now, another option to lighting a pipe is to use a butane lighter, that much, you know, like which you would use to light a cigar. Okay? And you can go down and buy a butane lighter. This is butane. You can buy that at local outlet stores. It's not a hard to find item. I bought that at, I believe, at Wally World. Okay, and you can buy a nice lighter. This particular one, bought it off of Amazon for $20. The nice thing about it is it's got a nice angle in which to light the pipe with. Now, the drawback with using a butane lighter is that once you first pack it, it's kind of light on top, and so there's a little bit of push on that flame. You can see that, and if you're not careful, when you lean that down in there, you're going to push and flick that tobacco, let tobacco out in your lap or on you, okay? That's the drawback to the butane lighter in terms of being careful. So you might start with this. There's no push, obviously, because it's just a wood burning match. So I'll go ahead and light this for you and show you how I'm going to do it with a wood match, keeping in mind that as I light it, I'll let it burn for a second, and then I will gently draw through this tobacco. Now, if you go to pull on this and it's hard to pull air through, then you've probably packed it too tight. Now, I do want to point something out. When you buy some pipes, like the pipes I've gotten from Amazon, they actually have a filter in this little hole. This one does not have one. And depending on how light you want the draw to be, you can leave that in there. I always take them out. I don't pull that hard on my tobacco, on the pipe, I mean. Okay, so another thing to consider too is, you see when I put that back on, you can turn that however you want for it to sit comfortable. See, right now with it clamped between my teeth, it's at a slight angle. So I could turn this so that it sits straight up and down, and it's slightly turned at an angle in my mouth, okay? So forgive my impaired speech as I grip this in my teeth and talk while lighting it. Now I'm just going to gently pull. So I'm going to light this. Let that burn. Letting it come up on the wood a little bit. Okay? And then once it's burned on the wood, now I'm just going to hold it on the pipe. So I'm going to take a nice, easy draw. And believe it or not, I'm going to actually let it go out. You don't have to, mind you. But if you do, you're going to do what's called tamping. Now you can buy a tamper for a couple bucks. I like these little cheap screwdrivers. It's got the head on it. I use this same one to clean the pipe out with, gently But after you've smoked it for just a few seconds, you're going to want to tamp it slightly. Not hard, just slightly. And the reason for that is because then when the fire gets down inside the tobacco, it will help it stay lit. And it's kind of like lighting a campfire, you know, and just barely or blowing on it just to get the embers, you know, or the tinder stuff to start to light. That's what you're doing. You're just going to just gently pull on it. Not a lot to it. The better you get at it, the less you have to relight. Now, after it's been lit and it goes out again and you've tamped it, then you might find it a little easier to come back in with the butane lighter. I like a wood match, but you know what? It's kind of hard to carry wood matches around in your pocket. And this looks a little bit sexier than wood matches, right? So, you know, if you're somewhere where you can smoke a pipe inside, which is a lot like cigarettes, you can't do it anymore, but you have that lighter to light that Foxy Chicks' cigarette for in your pocket. Okay, just a quick note: cigars and pipes are precisely the same in the way they're smoked. You do not inhale. I repeat, you do not inhale the smoke. The tobacco is heavier than what you would find in a cigarette, and cigarettes are addictive and have chemicals in them. This has nicotine in it. The only nicotine that you're going to intake is what the lining inside your mouth, the membrane, and it's such a minor amount of nicotine. There is no addiction factor. I can take it or leave it, trust me. I can go a week or 2 weeks or a month. That's part of the problem with the pipe, just like a cigar is. If you don't nurse it, it will go out. Pipe goes out much easier than a cigar. Now, this bag I showed you, $20, lasts you months. Maybe a month if you smoke it, you know, every day, you know, a couple times a day. Now, I have done research on the health hazards of smoking a cigar and a pipe, and you're always going to get the, oh well, you know, it's a sin, or it's, you know, you're corrupting or damaging the temple. I don't buy that. I'm not the religious kind. I'm a Christian, but I'm not religious. So there's nothing that's sinful about smoking a cigar or a pipe, or for that matter, that I can tell, even a cigarette. I don't think they're going to keep you out of heaven. In fact, as a pastor once said, they might get you there sooner. Or if you don't know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, you might be getting someplace else sooner. That's your option. Anyways, if you've got any questions, please feel free to write them down, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if you watch, I'll relight, smoke for a couple seconds, and then we'll end this tutorial. It's a nice, comfortable, easy thing to do. I enjoy my pipe with a mixed drink, a sour whiskey or a beer of your flavor. Helps clear the palate. The important part on a cigar and a pipe is that the draw needs to be nice and easy, because if you pull hard on either one of them, you're going to get a burning or a nasty bitter taste in your mouth because you're burning it too hot. That's the key to smoking a cigar or a pipe, is not to draw down on it really, really hard. Now, sometimes you'll get a cigar that is, hard to pull through, and you are forced to pull hard through it and relight it. But again, the cigars are different. YouTube video, maybe I'll do another one for you on that. Smoke away, enjoy yourself, and most importantly, relax.